then I'd find out that they would probably be willing to drop out of it and let Peregrine do the program. The contract is not that big; it's only like $15,000 a year, type of a thing. So I'm going to talk to Amoresco about that. See if we have any problem with terminating their quarterly reporting early and bringing on Peregrine to do it. And so that gets the fox out of the chicken house, so to speak. So that's what I want to go. And if they're amenable to that, then I'll the next time we have a meeting, then I can get approvals to bring it to the committee, say they're willing, and then we can make the decision to do that. So that's we are with the Amoresco project. We do have the solar for the schools. They have gone out to bid. The bids are in, and Monday our developer, Advanced Energy Efficiencies, who is handling that project for us, is going to be meeting with finance committee, which basically is the purchasing. Also going to be Terry from the school is going to be there, and I'm going to be there, and they're going to present what their findings are in terms of, we had I guess several good proposals. So we will have that information, and then the finance board may ask us to make the final approval on the thing, on which one to go with. So I'll find that out Monday. So that's where we are with the school projects. The solar on the landfill is just going along like it has. It's still, as long as the sun shines, we're getting benefit from it. So that's basically it. The main thing that I had wanted, which we can't do without Peter, would be to talk about the fleet study, the all-electric vehicle fleet study. I had met in accordance with what you see in a minute from the July meeting with Matt, and Matt is very interested, and I connected up. Peter and Matt were supposed to get together and decide the next step. So I don't know where that stands without Peter. So we need him to give us the the input on that as to where it's at. So that's basically covering the items on the agenda. Do we have any questions or discussions on any of those items?
So
go ahead.
The fleet study, I think what was in the minutes was the 19,000 for the fleet study, and then from there it would be determined any overall cost and return on investment on a purchase of vehicles. That would be the next phase, basically.
Yeah, I'm putting together a plan to transition to electric vehicles, going forward. And Matt was not uncomfortable with the $19,000, so I don't think it's that big of an item. But we do need Peter to report what he's done and this kind of a thing.
Okay.
So,
Bill, have the transmission cost increases from Eversource changed the equation for solar?
it would make it a better deal.
Right. So we can say we're saving more money because of it.
Yeah, what we did, and rather than going with a purchase power agreement, which would be like a 15 to 20 year thing, where we would be purchasing electricity from it, we're going the route of because the Bethel has such a very strong credit rating, and talking with finance, they could borrow money for less than 2% now. And we're talking about a lease purchase where we get all of the environmental attributes, the renewable energy credits, the capacity credits, and all of the energy savings and everything, and it just basically would be paying, purchasing it on a time, at a very low interest rate. And according to advanced energy folks, talking to them, they say that's was really the better way to go. So that way we would be looking at maybe a 10-year, and like, I don't know, I won't know more on Monday when we meet, but looking more like a 10-year and getting all of the benefits to cover the cost. And as long as we can be, and we were looking at the energy rates, the electricity rates before this Eversource increase, we were looking at a minimum being revenue neutral. So we may end up getting financial benefit plus paying for, getting the solar and getting everything together. So
That assumes we sell the credits?
well, we've got granted the credits already. We've got awarded from Eversource 15 years, under the state program.
Oh, sorry, there was some kind of tax credits we got
Oh, yeah,
for the
the tax-
landfill one.
Well, that's part of the financing. They got the financing, looking at the financing in two different buckets. One, a tax exempt municipal lease, and another one that would maybe take advantage of the depreciation credits, those kinds of things.
Okay.
So,
But I was more thinking of the landfill project. Is that generating, more profit, to use, to lack a better word, or saving us more money, I guess, than we had expected?
well, yeah, I did a year ago for the last finance committee last year's budget. I went through and did the analysis of all of the benefits that we're getting from the landfill, and ended up to be like a $35,000 annual benefit.
Okay. Will the increased transmission costs that we may or may not see, because they bumped it up in July, right?
Well, that we won't see much because the way that we're wheeling that power away from the landfill,
Mhm.
the immediate benefit is because we're providing 100% of the, benefit to the town garage there, basically.
Mhm.
But that is wheeled out to the other, schools and other town buildings. There's still a transportation charge associated with that. I can find out
Oh,
what that, how that would be impacted, but there was a discount off of the existing at that time.
well, we'll just have to, I mean, it's easy enough to just wait and say, hey, we spent this much, we would have spent that much,
Well,
based on what the
yeah,
rest of the town is.
that's what I did with it,
Yeah,
with this
okay.
analysis before. What I did for sizing of the ones on the schools, what I sized so that we would have basically no net metering, because the net metering is there's no guarantee that would continue. In other words, that we would use 100% of the kilowatt hours that come off of the system internally within the schools themselves, so that we can get full benefit. So that's basically it. Because the net metering, you're basically using the grid as sort of a storage when you're not using all the power and coming back. And the issue there is if you don't offset that 100% of your usage during the year, then any surplus, you only get the wholesale market price for that, which has been like 1.5 cents a kilowatt hour. So that doesn't make sense to build something that's gonna do that. So that's how we set it up, as to be able to minimize any impact of the net
And that's
metering.
set up for just the two schools, or is it going to be the whole park?
Well, right now it's 2 schools plus the new track and field house. And what I wanted for the track and field house, because the roof is perfectly suited for solar the way it's angled, and it was actually built to support solar. But the power that the square footage could carry would be much greater than what would be consumed for the track and field. So what I had put in there was to be able to feed that extra power into the high school. So, we'll see what happens on Monday and how all that comes together. But I want to take total advantage of it for the town. But we can't talk about, because it's not on the agenda, but there's other things planned for the school park down there, particularly the Amoresco project status. We had three components to that. Was the performance was doing all the energy efficiency on the building upgrades, the landfill, and the third phase was to put a microgrid on the school park. And that when that goes, then there would be additional solar and stuff that would be connected to that. And Matt's very interested in that, because these last power outages, the police station was without power.
I thought they had a generator.
Well, generators fail, and that was a concern, but they were out for 7 days. Power. And when you do, there was a study done years ago of probably the most best maintained, reliable generators there are, data centers.
Mhm.
And the study came up that 10% of generators fail to start, and 20% fail within the first hour of operation. That's just the nature of mechanical equipment like that. So the extent, and what we were talking about, the microgrid would be, be the base power, would be a fuel cell, and then supplemented with solar. And then we have tied into that the emergency generators that come in, because they have put in, they're supposed to, and it's what I recommended. They said they're going to do for the Johnson and Rockwell schools, to put generators there, backup generators. So we have those, plus the high school, plus the one at the Johnson school has to be replaced, because it's got issues that would give us a very solid venue for, police, as well as school and emergency shelters and kitchen, with the high school kitchen being able to feed people, and then the elderly housing is all electric, that would be covered. So that would set us up very nicely. And Amoresco, the problem, they can't do that unless we get a good grant, and the grants didn't. Amoresco's, the first pass at this thing, they cut off the grants. They did have some grant money left, and Amoresco's been trying to pursue to get that grant money released. And that's what they're continuing to work on, is to get the grant dollars so that then we could afford the microgrid.
If you talk to those guys, we might be able to slip something with COVID-19 and social distancing and needing more area to spread people out in the emergency shelter.
Yeah. We put a lot of tents on the school park.
I got some nice tents, man.
Yeah. But that leg of that, is still being worked on. It's just not economically feasible unless we can get a grant of an amount that would cover.
Is it close?
Well, there's been some personnel changes at Deep, where the issue is. And Amoresco has a pretty good relationship with the new people there.
No, I mean, even without a grant, is it close?
No, we need $1 million some odd dollars of grants, to avoid, because the whole purpose is to be net neutral, a revenue to the town.
Yeah.
If we could get somebody to cough up, $1.5 million.
Well, I was talking to Matt, must have been 5 years ago, and he was saying that when electricity goes down, they have to bring, there's a lot of police calls to the housing there, and they have to bring those people over to the high school and stuff, and it's a real cost to the town. So if we were even close, we could justify it that way.
Yeah, but it's not. It's considerable dollars to be able to do that, but we haven't given up on it. And that would be the third leg of the Amoresco initiative. So, but little by little, we're making good progress on getting these things to help the town. So, any other questions or discussions? Or I like your background. Which
Oh,
falls
thanks.
to those?
That's virtual backgrounds, right?
Yeah, I know, but what you know which area that is?
Oh, I have no idea. I just liked it. I said this
Yeah,
one's
it
pretty
is.
cool. Nice and relaxing, you know. Of
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
course, my arms fade in and out.
yeah. That's okay. Okay, well, if we don't have any other issues or just questions, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sure. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and thank you, Kathy.